Good morning, everybody. This is Stephen Pugh of the Home Bible College. It is September the 22nd, and we're looking at the last few chapters of Ecclesiastes from chapter 10 onward. And we have a lot of very notable proverbs and notable sayings. Let's begin with verse 1. Dead flies cause the ointment of the apothecary to send forth a stinking savour. So what Solomon is saying is that when the apothecary, who is a person that creates perfume, when he creates perfume, if a fly gets into it, then it can turn it sour and cause the beautiful scent to become a stink. And he says, and so doth a little folly in him that is in reputation for wisdom and honour. Oh, how true. People who are known for wisdom and honour, sadly, a little bit of folly can cause their reputation to stink. Wow. Verse 5, there is an evil which I have seen under the sun, an error which proceedeth from the ruler. Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in a low place. Now that is a great folly. When people have respect to the fool and they give great dignity to the fool, then that is a great evil under the sun. And also, the rich sit in a low place. That's not a good thing. I have seen servants upon horses, and princes walking as servants upon the earth. He that diggeth a pit shall fall into it, and whoso breaketh a hedge, a serpent shall bite him. Whoso removeth stones shall be hurt therewith, and he that cleaveth wood shall be endangered thereby. If the iron be blunt, he do not wet the edge, then he must put in more strength. But wisdom is profitable to direct. Wow. So these are all homely statements of wisdom. Let's look at verse 12. The words of a wise man's mouth are gracious, but the lips of a fool will swallow up himself. Verse 14. A fool is full of words. A man cannot tell what shall be, and what shall be after him, and who can tell him? Verse 16. Woe to thee, O land, when thy king is a child, and thy princes eat in the morning. Blessed art thou, O land, when the king is the son of nobles, and thy princes eat in due season, for strength and not for drunkenness. But much slothfulness the building declayeth, and through idleness of the hands the house droppeth through. Curse not the king, no, not in thy thought. Curse not the rich in thy bedchamber. For the bird of the air shall carry the voice, and that which hath wings shall tell the matter. He's saying, be careful what you say, even in your bedchamber, because the birds can repeat your voice. Of course, in those days, they knew that a parrot could pick up what you're saying and carry it away. Then chapter 11, there are various phrases in Ecclesiastes which are known to us. They're all known to us, but we often don't know where they come from. That's the point. Verse 1, cast thy bread upon the waters, for thou shalt find it after many days. I'm not going to take time to go through explaining all these. Sometimes the explanation is obvious. Verse 4, he that observeth the wind shall not sow, he that regardeth the clouds shall not reap. Do you know, if we looked at the weather and decided what to do, we would never get anything done. We need to do the work, whatever the weather. Verse 6, in the morning sow thy seed, in the evening withhold not thine hand, for thou knowest not whether shall prosper either this or that, or whether both shall be alike good. Rejoice, O young man, in thy youth, and let thy heart cheer thee in the days of thy youth, and walk in the ways of thine heart, and in the sight of thine eyes. But know thou that for all these things God will bring thee into judgment. Therefore remove sorrow from thy heart, and put away evil from thy flesh, for childhood and youth are vanity. Now it's very important that we understand that we're speaking here about people in the law, people in the covenants. We're not talking about Christians here, because he says about them, he says, think about how you live, because you know that you will all be brought into judgment for how you live. And then we have that famous phrase at the beginning of chapter 12, remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. He says, remember your Creator while you're young, before you get old, before you get weary, before you get tired, before you realize that life is bitter, and before all sadness comes upon you. And it goes right on down the passage, verse 6, or ever the silver cord be loosed, or the golden bowl be broken. Now, the silver cord, of course, is the spinal cord, and the golden bowl is that cup at the base of the skull that will one day be broken. Or the pitcher be broken at the fountain. I presume that that's referring to the bladder. Or the wheel broken at the cistern. And I presume that that's the hip. Then shalt thou return to the earth as it was. Then shalt the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it. You see, you're not just a body. People say when the body dies there's nothing. No. When the body dies, the spirit is very much alive and goes on to live. The spirit will return to God who gave it. And then you go right away down, verse 12, and further by these, my son, be admonished. By making many books there is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh. It's very important as students of the Home Bible College that we don't get so grounded in the books, but the making of books, there's no end, and it's very tiring in the end. So treat your studies lightly. Yes, we want you to study, but don't let it grind you into the dust. And then in verse 13 and 14 we have my password for today. It is the complete summation of everything that Solomon wishes to teach his son. He says this. He says, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. Now, there are people that say, of course, they were all Christians in those days, just the same as we are. They had salvation just the same way. Well, they didn't. And the reason why we know that that's the case is because of this verse. It says, for God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. Now, those who were in the covenants will be brought into judgment. However, the Christian isn't brought into judgment. You know, there's a verse, beautiful verse in John chapter 5 verse 24. It says this, verily, verily, I say unto thee, he that heareth my word and believeth in him that sent me hath everlasting life, and shall not come into judgment, but hath passed from death unto life. And so while Christians don't come into judgment, all those people in the covenants do. They come into judgment, and all their works are judged, and they are assessed by the Lord, and they are rewarded accordingly. Wow. So God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. And notice he says, this is the conclusion. If you're a person living in the old covenant or living according to covenants, then listen to this. Fear God and keep his commandments. This is your whole duty. But if you're a Christian, you're not under the commandments of the old covenant. You are dead and buried and risen to a resurrection life in the Lord Jesus, not subject to law, but subject to the Spirit of God. Well, God bless you. Look forward to speaking to you again another day. Have a good day. Bye for now.